The Midmarket Institute, the hub for mid-sized companies, suppliers, and advisors worldwide.
Welcome. I'm Ram V. Iyer, founder and president of the Midmarket Institute. We're here in Itasca, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago, with Paul Darley, the president and CEO of Darley & Company. Darley & Company is a 100-plus-year-old company which has annual revenues of about $100 million, and they manufacture firefighting pumps and equipment. Paul, welcome.
All right, thank you, Ram.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. I noticed as I walked down the halls, there are a lot of Darleys here, a lot of Darleys, and I found one very interesting poster as I was walking downstairs. There seems to be one for each of the Darleys and what you stand for. I think yours said you make a difference, and then your father had something else, and your brother and cousin.
Exactly.
So what went into this?
You know, it's interesting. As you know, Ram, I was a graduate of Kellogg for my MBA program, and after leaving there, I continued to use Northwestern as a resource, and I hired some students on an intern-type program to really help us, this is back in about 2003, 2004, to really help us find our sustaining point of difference as a company and what we were going to go in and focus on with our brand. And so these students end up putting together just an excellent presentation for me, and we had our final meeting at a bar just off the Kellogg Northwestern campus up in Evanston. And I said, you know, you've all done a wonderful job with this presentation, but I want you to, here's a napkin, and I want you to write down what you think is our one sustaining point of difference. And they all opened up their napkins, and they all had the same one-word answer, and that was family. And I guess I always felt that, yes, it was our competitive advantage, our obvious competitive advantage that wasn't easily replicatable by our competitors because, you know, they're by and large mostly owned by publicly traded companies. And in fact, we use that family. It really permeates our entire business, whether you're a Darley family member or not. And in fact, I think we probably have of our 10 different families who are not Darley related, who have either siblings or children or parents working in the business, and it's really we as a company, it's who we are, and it's really imbued in everything that we do. So it comes very naturally for us.
See, but there's one thing I see that's very different. Just walking down the hall. Generally, family-run businesses, it's like your grandfather started it, and he said X. And everybody lives by that. Mm-hmm. And that's everywhere, there's a statue, there's a photograph, etc. Or there is a family member who's running it today, that's you. And everything that Paul says goes, and that's what happens. What struck me is when I looked on that, everybody has a definition of what they believe in, what they stand for.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you, as you know today, I think no one person runs any company, and we are very blessed as a business to have an executive team the executive team is actually there's four of us. It's myself, a brother, and two cousins, and the four of us are all obviously family members who really work well together. It's a very symbiotic relationship where there's very little bickering, and really we feed off of each other and help push each other, and as a company that really works. We balance that with a management team that is mostly non-family, so that the non-family members in our business are aware that there are advancement opportunities, and that we're all incredibly passionate about this business. I mean, I like to say that, I pop up in a bed like a piece of toast every morning. I can't wait to get to work. It's my life's work. It's our passion, and that was instilled in us, as well as these values of just being generous values and integrity values that were instilled by us by the second generation. My father, his brother, and his sisters, who really instilled these solid values in us as a third generation running the business. Work ethic certainly being one, another strong one that we now in turn are trying to make sure that we are pushing into the fourth generation, who are now just starting to join the business. And we, in fact, have very strict set of rules. It's a family participation plan that lays out very clearly, here are the rules for joining our family business. There's no obligation on the company to hire you as a child. There's no obligation for you to come to the company. You're expected to, you're going to be paid whatever the typical salary is. You're going to be held to a higher accountability standard. You're expected to go out and get work experience outside the family business before you come and invest your time and talents here. So a lot of the textbook things that they're really teaching in the business schools, as well as in a lot of the different family business organizations that we're involved with and have been involved with over the last 20 years. So we try to learn from other companies as much as we can.
So in spite of you being a very bright set of people who are very individual, which is what those posters told me, you live in the same area, you hang out together, you have family get together. The recipe for groupthink. Could be, but at the same time, we're all very, we're beyond the groupthink because Also.
because no one is afraid to tell each other what they really feel. So I am very sensitized to the groupthink with respect to our backgrounds, but we're all very individual. Even though I'm telling you how well we all get together as a group. Part of the reason we all get together so well as a group is we tell exactly each other what is on our mind, and we all go. Every day I get to go out to lunch with my 4 brothers, if you could imagine, and they're our best friends, and we do get together, on a regular basis, whether it be at our summer home, or whether it be at a family graduation party this past weekend or whatever. So groupthink, while I'm always very sensitized to that issue, I can pretty much assure you that's nothing that exists at Darley Company. Yeah, and I think we also make sure that we protect ourselves from that by having a very professional outside board of directors who are not yes men, who clearly are on our board to add value and to make sure that they are, challenging us and pushing us and making sure that the status quo or groupthink certainly doesn't exist.
You raise a very good point. When you have a group that is so tightly knit, it's easy for any outsider, it doesn't matter who. I noticed your CFO does not have the same last name.
No, that's right.
He's
right.
a different person.
Yeah.
For somebody to come and either say, I'm going to come and work for the Darleys for money.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The motivations are very different because their sense, whether it's true or not, whether you treat them the same way or not, their sense is, I really cannot have a big impact. How did you go about recruiting a board?
I think a lot of that goes to the point that I was saying with our management team, for example. We make very clear that, again, our management team, although it could be dominated by Darley family members, the business, incidentally, right now is owned by 16 of us in the 3rd generation, 9 of whom work in the business. So you've got a lot of, and our management team has 14 members, but there's only 5 Darley family members on that management team. So it's largely non-family members. So we are a good place to work. I don't think anyone has ever left our business based on, and our turnover is incredibly low. I think it's always been in the single digits as best I can remember, and I think, and certainly the voluntary turnover rate is, I think in the last 10 years averaged about 1% to 2%. So we have very little turnover in our business, but it's because I think we treat our employees the way we follow the golden rule and all of the, while we set expectations and make sure that they have the tools that they know that they need to do the job, we're also very conscious to make sure that it's a good, enjoyable place to work that hopefully rewards them. And I think, too, one of the things that we're seeing more and more is, from a quality of life standpoint, I think we give our employees a lot to enjoy with what they do. There's no bars on these windows, as I always like to say. People are free to come and go as they please and contribute, and contribute they do.
Paul, thank you for joining us and sharing your insights about your travels to 65 countries and going global with our viewers. And thank you.
Great. All right. Thank you. All right.